Welcome back to Dark Knights. We left off with Junaro and Chain. Hi, Chain. Creepy gas mask guy? I glance back to Junaro and notice a red stain growing on his shoulder. I sit back up in a panic, reaching towards the injured before pulling back, realizing how bad an idea it is. Zhu, are you okay? I look at his face, but he seems unbothered by what must be a painful injury, instead glaring at his assailant. You won't get away this time. The simple words draw me out of shock, and I turn back towards Junaro's attacker, positioning myself between the two men. You know, you constantly get in between Chain and his targets, which is kinda why either he dies or they die. Move. How dare you break into my house and attack him? Who do you think you are? Chain raises an eyebrow, whether at my question or my audacity in the face of a gun, I do not know. Are you the one who's been making the villagers disappear? I then realize exactly what kind of person would commit such an act. My heart races in fears, but I continue shielding Junaro. You're the serial killer, aren't you? Don't accuse people of crimes without proof. If you aren't the culprit, then why are you after him? Because I want to put an end to the murders and he's your criminal. I glance at my friend with disbelief. Instead of defending himself, Junaro meets my gaze for a moment, then turns away looking sad. He said not to listen to anything until he has the full story, so I'm not gonna assume it's him. I'm grateful for your kindness, Miss Miyoko. Why are you saying that now? I'm sorry to have involved you in this, but he is telling the truth. Why? Chain takes advantage of my confusion, rushing to forcibly yank me off my bed and stabbing him in the heart with a dagger in the same fluid motion. I pull myself to my feet as quickly as I can, only to stare in horror as Junaro calmly pulls the dagger out of his chest. Chain makes an irritated stand, stepping back and reaching into his jacket. Junaro gives me a small smile as he drops Chain's dagger to the ground. May we never meet again, Miss Miyoko. I don't have time to reply before Chain pulls out his gun again, leveling it at Junaro. Junaro dashes to the window, opening it and leaping out of the night as Chain fires multiple shots in his direction. A few bullets hit him before he makes his escape. Chain and I race to the window, but it's impossible to see anything within the darkness. I can't believe... I sink onto the ground as my legs start to feel heavy. I ignore Chain as he makes another irritated noise, and holsters his gun before turning to pick up his dagger. Chain snorts, the sound distorted and strange through his mask. I can't believe you protected that thing. He's not a thing, he's my friend. The man sighs in irritation. When he speaks again, his tone is that of someone speaking to a particularly stupid child. Your friend isn't even human. He's a murderer, and you prevented me from stopping him. You don't know what he's capable of. How many more are going to die before we catch him because you couldn't stay out of the way? Neither do you, apparently. He isn't a murderer. Chain sighs, crouching down to look me in the eyes. You know what the living dead are? I've read stories when people died and rose from the grave. Do you know what they eat? No. They eat people. You want monsters like that running around? No, but are you trying to say Junaro's some kind of zombie? Remember the bandages around his neck? I slit his throat wide open, but he still escaped. That's absurd. Nothing you're saying is possible. Are you an idiot? No, even if he is some sort of zombie, he's a good person. Get out of my house. Whatever. Don't ever come here again and stop chasing my friend. Chain snorts but does not respond, stepping out onto the porch. Take my advice. Stay out of this. There are more living dead in this village and they aren't all your friends. With that, Chain disappears into the night. I knew there was something strange about that guy. No wonder Ju was wary of him. He knew what he was dealing with. I have so many questions, but it sounds like he wants me to stay away. What if I never see him again? I shake my head and close the door before returning to my room. I can help feeling anxious, but there's nothing more I can do right now. There's no way Ju's behind all these murders. If I have to, I'll find the real culprit to prove it. Maybe it's Roya's fault, since he says he's the one going around doing stuff that's endangering the both of them. Wouldn't surprise me. After a few hours, I finally decided to stop by the old mansion. I try to peek through a nearby window, but a layer of dust renders the glass opaque. I shout his name a few more times to no avail. Where was the secret entrance again? Stupid secret wall door. Resigning myself to the fact that he's either not there or refusing to see me, I head home. Over the next 3 days, I continue searching for my friend but have no luck. I always walk home with a tight feeling in my chest. Hope Shane hasn't gotten him already. I find some newspapers on the doormat and take him to the living room. An article on the front page catches my attention. Another victim has been confirmed in the serial murders plaguing our village. Kiro Hitoshi, age 40, was found in a dumpster this Sunday morning. Kiro had been reported missing 2 days prior. He is believed to have been killed between 11 p.m. on Friday and 3 a.m. on Saturday. But Junra came by at about 10, and he was still there when I woke up at 3 a.m. If he was at my house the entire time, he couldn't be the killer. Is it possible Jun knows this but still thinks of himself as guilty? I have to find the truth. Staying in front of the Kenriji mansion, I shout my friend's name at the top of my lungs. As expected, there was no reply. Desperate, I begin knocking on the windows as I peer through them, but it's too dark for me to see anything. I fumble around the side of the house, trying to locate the secret entrance. By some miracle, I actually managed to open the passage today. Achievement opening theme, piano version. I glance around the main room. Junra is nowhere to be found, but I soon notice a faint sound coming from upstairs. As I follow the sound, it becomes clear. The faint tones crystallizing into the thrumming resonance of piano keys. The melody is gentle, yet sad. This song, who could be playing it? A half-open door catches my attention. The music seems to originate from inside. I approach the doorway, peering through to find Junra seated on a bench of a grand piano. He seems very focused, yet his expression is filled with sadness. I listen quietly for a few long moments. All of a sudden, he stops playing and glances in my direction. I slowly move into the room, blushing awkwardly. That was, nice music, Joe. He smiles faintly at my compliment. I suppose I should have expected you to sneak in again, Miss Miyoko. I'm glad you enjoyed the piece all the same. It is called Dark Nights. Juno reverts his gaze, staring at the piano keys as he addresses me. Why'd you come back? I believe I made it clear that we should not meet again. I still have many things to ask you. Besides, I think you're innocent. I cross the room and hand Junra the newspaper, pointing to the relevant article. As he sims through it, I remind him where he was that night, then wait for him to draw his own conclusion. You can read it yourself. I don't understand why you accepted the blame put on you that night. Junra remains silent for a moment, deep in thought. Miss Miyoko, please come here. He shifts to one side of the bench, making a spot for me. I cross the room and sit down, watching him as I await his response. Did Shane tell you anything about me, about what I am? He told me you're one of the living dead. He was telling the truth. I am basically a walking corpse. Junra pulls the bandage off his neck, exposing a scar across his throat. I stare at the injury until he gently lifts my chin, bringing my gaze to meet his. You may touch it if you wish. I assure you it is real. The only way to kill me is to remove my head. Any other injury is merely an inconvenience. This body functions differently from yours. Even if I'm chopped in half, I will not feel any pain. I trace his wound with my fingers. His skin is cold to touch. When I give him a concerned expression, he pulls away and straightens his back before pulling the bandages back into place. I apologize for crossing your boundaries. I should not have showed you something so grotesque. I'm not bothered at all. I'm glad you're being honest. Did you not say you were scared of people like me before? No, I'm more terrified of, I don't know, people possessed by, demons. That's not fun. Are you comparing yourself to the person who attacked me? You're totally different from them. Even if you're a little different from me, it doesn't change the fact that I like you as a person, that is. Junora chuckles at my reaction. Thank you, Miss Miyako. In truth, there are many things I've hidden from you. I apologize for rejecting the dinner you worked so hard to make when I said over, this body cannot break down food well. I saw you drink tea though. Liquid is different. In short, I do not usually eat unless I need to heal an injury. Jane told me that you eat people. Is that true? No, I apologize, Miss Miyako. No, I do not subsist on human flesh. Oh, that's good to hear. Eating it would allow me to heal faster, as my body could replace damaged cells more easily, but there's no need for me to consume it regularly. So you do? I neither kill nor eat people. I use the alternate method of regular food. It is painful to heal myself this way, however. I find most minor injuries are not worth the trouble. I cannot even imagine what my friend has gone through. I wrap my arms around his torso, embracing him. Junora seems frozen for a moment. As we pull away from each other, I notice he's now smiling. After all I said, it seems I am the one who's most surprised. I cannot express how I feel, Miss Miyako. I already told you, didn't I? It's the personality that matters most. That said, the corpse that was found last night, you know who did it, don't you? You were sharp as always, Miss Miyako. My brother Roy is the one responsible for the crimes as of late. So you've been covering up the evidence for him? Yes, he told me he was only attacking certain people, but I still wish he would stop. Why are you taking responsibility for his actions? You're your own person. He's the only family I've left. It is natural for me to protect him. As is obvious by this point, Roy is also a living dead, although we are fundamentally different. He requires human flesh in order to sustain his existence. I stare at him horrified. Those demon rumors have turned from lies to truths. That is what I feel most guilty about. Isn't there a way to stop him? I have tried, but there's nothing more I can do. Junora rests his elbows on the piano, appearing more troubled by the moment. I cannot simply allow my brother to die, and yet I cannot watch as he murders the villagers either. I have quite the dilemma on my hands. Why don't we talk to him together? 2 minds are better than one. Miss Miyako, it'd be better if you... Hey, this is my problem too. I've lived here all my life, you know? If I have even the smallest chance to make this right, I want to do whatever I can. I give Junora a determined stare. Before long, he gives in. You will not simply drop the conversation, will you? Of course not. It seems I have no other choice, then. I will accept your help on one condition. Do not tell anyone else about this. The state of the village is already unstable. I give a thumbs up and nod. Well, Miss Miyako, I'm glad you stopped by. Now would be a good time for you to be on your way. My brother may wake up soon. To be honest with you, I don't think now's a good time. I don't know what's been on his mind lately. As if on cue, footsteps begin down the hallway and the door is slowly opened. A tall blonde stands in the doorway. Hey, Zhu. I thought I heard you talking to someone while I was in the shower. Ah, Miss Cutie again, huh? What good timing. We were just wanting to talk to you. That's unexpected. Roy attempts to approach me, but Junora blocks him. Aw, chill, G. I'm not gonna do anything to her. Do not call me by that weird nickname. But you're my adorable little brother, why not? Their chemistry ever puzzles me. Junora almost made Roy sound like a crazy person, but he seems fairly harmless to me. Then again, I shouldn't assume anything yet. Roya, we need to talk about these accidents. Roya looks in my direction, tilting his head slightly. Did you seriously tell her everything? I could not. Is she even trustworthy? If not, well, you know the drill. The blonde begins approaching me once more, his mysterious eyes gazing into mine. I almost feel like I'm being hypnotized. Roya, I would appreciate if you stop attempting to intimidate our guest. Now then, why don't we take this conversation downstairs? The blonde snorts and passes brother on the shoulder before walking on ahead. We make our way to the living room. I plan to have a serious talk with Roy, but it feels awkward now that he's really joined us. The three of us in silence and take the lead. Roya, is it True, you're the one who's been murdering the villagers. What makes you think that? Junor told me everything. You'll be caught if you continue killing, and who knows what will happen to you then. The man shoots me a mischievous smile, although his eyes are filled with poorly hidden contempt. Well, little Mr. Know-it-all, what else am I supposed to eat? Or are you offering up yourself as a replacement? I might stop killing if I have an entree as cute as you. Junor clears his throat, deliberately interrupting his brother. Roya, please take this more seriously. I suppose I'll have to if my adorable little brother asks me to. Still, what do you actually expect me to do? Are you a biologist, Miss Miyako? I opened my mouth to speak, but he has a point. Well, if that's all you wanted to say, I'll think about it. If you excuse me, I have something to do. Ju, can I get the keys? Never mind, I'll just deal with it. Have a good night, Miss Cutie. After Roya leaves, Junor clutches his hands together and lets out a deep sigh. Sorry, I guess I wasn't very helpful, huh? It was not your fault. He was not taking the situation seriously. After all, he wants Corrado to kill him. Were you frightened of him? I sincerely apologize for his crass demeanor. No, it's okay. He just came off as a bit. Despite what you've witnessed, he can indeed be serious at times. Even still, I do not know how to reach him. Especially when it comes to the villagers. We often find ourselves in disagreement. As much as I do not wish to admit it, the reality is that he often kills villagers for reasons other than consumption. I see. Well, he did say he'd consider what I said. I hope he'll keep his word. It's been a while since he last listened to someone. I cannot predict his actions, but I truly hope he will. Me too. By the way, where's he going? I believe he went back to his room. He does not go out every night, so there's no need to worry over it. Ah, that reminds me. Please, do not explore the mansion beyond what you've already seen. Why not? Whereas sometimes leaves his leftovers in the rooms. A chill runs down my spine from the thought. Okay, I get it. Anyway, guess I should be going now. Would you mind if I came back tomorrow? Quite frankly, I'm surprised you wish to return. Of course, you are always welcome here, Miss Miyako. Please, allow me to walk you home. Thank you. So many things happened today that my mind can barely keep up. I can praise myself for finding the serial killer within a short amount of time, but that leaves the next problem. Stopping Roya from killing innocent people. I was raised by parents who only believed in science. The living dead still seemed like a fantasy. Junor and Roya look completely normal despite being living dead. Nothing about them is gruesome or corpse-like. If Roya's the cause of it, that means the angel controls them for her own sick game. I yawn and pull the blanket up to my chin. My eyelids start to feel heavy and I fall into a dreamless sleep. Although I'm 90% sure on Corrado's route, Roya mentions that he's not the only one doing this. I wake up to the sound of a door slamming from somewhere inside the house. I sit up and peer around the room. What was that? I'm sure I locked everything this time. And he's probably here. Who knows, maybe we'll run into Kaichi. Where did the sound come from? Show yourself. The floor creaks as the shadow creeps closer. I fumble against the wall, but I realize who my visitor is before I turn on the lights. Roya, what are you doing in my house? I was hoping for a stronger, more scared reaction. Breaking into someone's house isn't a joke. How do you even get in here? You didn't lock the door. Anyone could have walked straight in. Yeah, right. I remembered to lock it this time. If you broke the lock, you'll have to pay for the repairs. Oh, don't make me look bad. I just wanted to see your face again. In the middle of the night, what are you, a pervert? Anyway, go back to your brother. I'm sure he's worried about you. Nah. He'll be fine on his own. You, on the other hand, have loneliness written all over your face. I didn't ask for your company. Really? Can I kick him? It won't do anything. Achievement. Always violent. What are you doing? I try to pull my arm back, but Roya's grip is too strong. With all my might, I attempt to knee him in the abdomen. Aw, we're getting violent, Miss Cutie. Naming for the old wound too. You sure know your stuff. It's been a week since he got that injury. It hasn't healed yet, which probably means I attempt to kick him again, but the blonde effortlessly blocks it with one hand. He seems amused at my annoyance. You're too fun. I should really save you for last. So you came to eat me, huh? The man grins mischievously as he rubs his chin. Maybe. I'm curious how you taste. If he wasn't a zombie, that'd sound very, very inappropriate. I step back in surprise, mentally preparing myself for the worst. You take me way too seriously, you know. We can play around another time. I came here for something boring but important. His gaze turns serious as his smile disappears. I only want to confirm something. You haven't told anyone about the incident from earlier this week, have you? You mean what happened in the storage room? No, I kept it to myself. Well, I don't think you're lying. You honestly believe I'm the one behind the villagers' murders, don't you? Jinro has an alibi, but I don't have any reason not to believe you're the culprit. Besides, even your brother thinks you did it. I'm hurt, Miyako. And you're trying to pit my own cute brother against me? Shame on you. There are more things happening in the village than you know. As said, zombie. He could have created one or two. But it's probably that angel. You mean those zombie-like people, I guess? It's true that I'm responsible for creating them, but lately, they've been going out of control and attacking the villagers. Of course, if any victims survive the attacks, they can easily turn into the living dead themselves as well. And, yep, it's the angel. Him and the angel. My brother and I have a different form of the virus, so we aren't contagious like the others. We were artificially made, you see. My eyes widen in shock. Anyway, the missing people are all long dead. My point is, you don't need to help us. Keep yourself locked up in here and nothing bad will happen to you. Promise. What about all the living dead around town? They're dangerous. You'll only get in the way if you try to help. The next time I'm hungry, I might take care of them myself. Maybe. All alone? You're getting ahead of yourself. You're underestimating me. Well, I'm off. Don't tell my brother what I said, or he might end up hurting himself. Wouldn't want that, would you? Does Jinro know they're multiplying themselves? Does it matter? Anyway, if anyone finds out about this, make sure you put all the blame on me. Leave my brother out of this. I softly agreed to his request with a nod, despite fundamentally disagreeing with Roya. Think of this as making us even. I didn't forget that you helped me when I was injured, Miyako. Roya smirks before leaving me alone in the hallway. My impression of Roya's changed again. I have mixed feelings about all this. Jinro has a right to know what's going on, doesn't he? Once I'm sure I'm alone and double-checked all the locks, I return to bed. I walk down the street, steadily approaching Jinro's home. Should I really tell him about last night? It might worry him even more, though. I suddenly notice someone standing under the street lamp. With the light casting a shadow over the face, I cannot recognize the figure. I rarely step closer, only to be unpleasantly surprised. Shane? The man's cold blue eyes shift towards me as his breathing audibly shows. You shouldn't be outside at this time of day. The living dead are already out. What? Already? Shane walks off without another word. Seeing his broad back, I am reminded of the moment he attacked Jinro. Unable to contain my anger, I sprint after Shane and raise my fist. Before my punch can connect, the man flips around and grabs my wrist. Even though I was in his blind spot, his reflexes were amazingly enough to still kick in. What are you doing? Shane shoves me away, glaring at me with clear and killing intent. Don't act all innocent, you're trying to kill my friends. Do you even know what you're accusing me of? You're a real weird one. Pot, meat, kettle. I'm weird. You dress to intimidate, break into houses to assault people at first sight, and who in their right mind wears a gas mask in public? Shane turns silent as he considers my thoughts. Once satisfied, he crosses his arms. First of all, I don't assault anyone at first sight. I carefully follow them before taking action. I'm not one of those mindless living dead. Secondly, I don't break into houses for fun. As for the mask, I'm just sick of the smell of death. Anyway, why does it even matter? 'Cause it makes you look suspicious as hell. Duh. Jane puts a hand on his head and begins to remove his mask, sighing as he does so. My eyes widen at the surprise that is his appearance. Do I still look intimidating? The man awaits my response, but I remain speechless. He snorts before putting his mask back on. If that's all you wanted to know. I have a job to finish. You should be grateful for me for exterminating those monsters. I clench my fist and glare at the man until he disappears. Huh. He's cursed himself, but what's his curse? As I move to the side of the house, I notice a large hole in the wall. I giggle at the thought. I head into the passage and arrive at the main room. Ju, are you there? I take a seat on the couch and wait patiently. Jinro did not want me to explore. Should I look for him? In the end, curiosity wins me over. Further down the hall, I find fresh droplets of blood on the ground. Ju, are you here? The steam filling my vision quickly reminds me that this is the washroom. Worse yet, the bathtub appears to be occupied by a masculine figure. Roya? A familiar chuckle answers me, raising goosebumps on my skin. I avert my gaze only to discover his blood-stained clothes hanging nearby. I wasn't expecting guests. Did you step in to join me, Miss Cutie? No, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. I rushed into the hallway and closed the door behind me. I saw nothing. Nothing. The more I think about it, the more my cheeks heat up. I do my best to push the thought out of my mind. Well, I don't want to walk in on Ju too. I should probably head back downstairs. By the time I settle on the couch, Roya comes down the stairs, his hair still damp. Looking for Ju, are you? I'm sorry to say he'll be out for a while. Oh, I'll come back later then. Wait, it'd be rude of me to send you off after you came all the way here. Would you like a cup of tea? No thanks. Suit yourself. So, you have a crush on my brother, huh? What? Why would you say that? He's always unpopular, you know? I'm glad he's finally getting some attention. What, really? But he's so kind, I can't think of a reason people would dislike him. Well, he lacks confidence, which is probably my fault. I used to be the Kenrigi heir, but it turns out my parents weren't a big fan of my attitude, so they gave the position to him instead. He didn't really feel ready for it, I guess. He seems like the older brother sometimes, doesn't he? On the other hand, he doesn't speak as highly of you. You cause a lot of trouble for him. Aw, did he say that? Even if he didn't want to admit it, I know he loves me. You care about him too, don't you? You should try not to inconvenience him so much. Roya chuckles before nodding, although it seems almost sarcastic. By the way, you know about your little stalker, right? That Chain guy? He was staying in front of the mansion earlier. Chain, huh? Roya stiffens up upon hearing the name. He rubs his chin and sighs. He seems quite interesting, but my brother doesn't want me killing anyone unrelated. The blonde stops before finishing his sentence and snorts. We're really on the same side, but there it goes. Nearly killing Jinro instead of getting rid of those annoying zombies. Jane's an extremist. Apparently, even the most obvious distinctions don't matter to him. No use trying to convince him otherwise. You see, the Kenrigis are the root of all this, and he knows that. Which is why he wants to kill Juju, and me first. What do you mean? It's a long story. If I've lived long enough to see you again, I'll consider telling you then. Wait for Jinro until it grows late, but he never appears. I'm forced to give up for the day. I end up staying home the next few days, feeling inexplicably exhausted. Every night I hear a single gunshot in my neighborhood. Articles in today's newspaper reveal steadily worse details about the disappearance victims, such as their corpse suddenly appearing on the streets, having been decomposing for days. The bodies seem unrelated to the gunshots, but my guts tell me what the police found were the living dead. With Chain making his presence so prominent, I cannot help but worry for the Kenrigi brothers. Maybe I should pay him a visit today. The sky grows dark and cloudy along the way to the mansion. I'm glad I remembered to bring my umbrella. As I travel, I realize someone is standing in a smile alley. Take a quick glance at him. Jinro's collapsed against a wall. I kneel in front of him and cup his cheeks in my hands. What happened? My friend does not respond, his eyes remain closed. Finally, I notice Jinro has a deep gash on his neck. I instantly remember he once told me that the living dead will die after they are decapitated. In a panic, I desperately call out his name. Just when I'm about to give up, the man's eyes slowly open. I nearly fall over in relief. Miss Miyoko, I apologize for you to witness me in such a state. Must have passed out at some point. What happened to you? I was attacked by Chain. I'm only thankful he was unable to fully sever my head. I truly believed I would die today. Even I fell for your fake death. I purse my lips while I look over at Generous' body. His wound seems so deep, no normal person could survive him. I'll help you clean up. Thank you for your concern, but I assure you I'm fine. You're starting to sound like Roya. Let me help you, alright? I decide to. Help him by myself. I will treat you. We're close to your home. Do you have a first aid kit there? Ah, yes. That is an excellent idea. Juno returns back to the alleyway and grimaces as he leans down to pick up his dismembered arm. Miss Miyoko, I normally kept it in place with a belt, but I'm so sorry for making you deal with this. I place his arm back on the right spot and wrap the belts around to tighten it. Juno turns his face away while I patch him up, probably feeling embarrassed. We shouldn't stay in the rain for too long. Let's head to your mansion. I wrap an arm around Juno and let him lean against me as we walk. It seems like a miracle he can still move, given how much worse his injuries are compared to Roya's back at the school. I leave Juno on the couch and proceed to search for a first aid kit. The further down the hall I walk, the more bloody the floor appears. I begin to suspect I'm heading straight into Roya's territory. All these doors look the same. How does you and Roya not get lost all the time? Putting labels above them would make it so much easier. Open a random door and peer into the room. The walls are stained by a dark liquid. I understand why Jenna warned me not to walk on my own. Perhaps I should try looking elsewhere. Sorry for taking so long, Ju. Do not worry. I should be the one apologizing for making you search through my house. The first aid kit should be in the kitchen. Please wait a moment while I... Ju? You can barely move. I'll get it for you. But, Miss Miyoko... I head to the kitchen and fumble around in the darkness till I step on something. The room is stained red as if a paint bomb exploded in there at some point. I start to tremble, but manage to calm myself down quickly enough. Here we go. I try to be quick. Forgot to warn you, but if you saw anything strange in the kitchen, it was from Roya attempting to cook a normal meal. He told me he wanted to experiment with food. No one was harmed, but although I cannot say the same about the poor blender he used. Jeez, I thought someone had been slaughtered. How could a person be so bad at cooking he protectively made the kitchen explode? He has never been much of a cook. Even so, it was heartening to see him take your advice and attempt other ways to satisfy his hunger. To be honest, it can be a dangerous enterprise, as he's unable to metabolize normal food. The contents will instead rot inside of him. A large enough portion could be fatal. Oh wow. I'm sorry I even suggested it. I didn't realize it was so serious. Junro shakes his head and smiles softly to me. I kneel beside him and unbutton his shirt, his eyes following my every movement. There's so many scars and stitches, he looks fragile. I'm starting to worry I'll only make this worse somehow. Never cease to amaze me, Miss Miyoko. Does nothing faze you? Seeing you hurt does. I'm glad I found you. If only I were as strong and self-assured as Roya. But hypotheticals are meaningless. Junro slides down his glove, revealing a scarred hand. It's a pity to see such fair skin blemished all over. You should have more confidence. Even if the rest of the world rejects you, you should at least accept yourself. Miss Miyoko. He gently squeezes my hand while his longing stare captures me. My heartbeat slowly speeds up. Suddenly he takes his hand and breaks the stare. The abrupt change in makes me feel embarrassed. I pull back and regain my composure. I feel better now. Thank you for your assistance. Of course, it's the least I could do. May I request we stay like this for a little longer? His voice is pleasant yet tainted with a touch of sadness. To my delight, my friend is truly beginning to open up, sharing his worries with me. Eventually, our discussion shifts to Roya. It has apparently been a full day since he returned home. Why are you so worried about him? He seems like someone who can handle himself. Well, it is a long story. Roy may seem invulnerable, but he fears the death same as anyone else. Everything has a beginning and an end. He believes his time is coming soon, especially with the recent investigations. He's become very careless, which is also part of the reason I asked you to refrain from telling anyone the truth. Again, I apologize for involving you in our mess. That reminds me, I've been seeing Shane around a lot lately. It's too bad we can't work together to take care of the living dead. It cannot be helped. Junior drifts in and out of consciousness as he lays on the couch. Miss Miyoko, will you be able to visit again tomorrow? As much as I'd like to, I think it'd be better for you to rest for a few days. Even though you're special, you still shouldn't push your body too much. Next day. The holidays feel excruciating long when there's nothing going on. Even the majority of stores have closed down, since so many people have gone on vacations. Most students are helping out their parents' businesses. The remaining open stores become busier than usual. I have to admit, I feel lonely without the company of my classmates. I sit on a bench and glance around the park. Other than a silver-haired boy, there's no one else around. I pull out a small novel out of my jacket pocket. Bright Days, the sequel to Dark Days. The original story caught my interest, so I'm eager to read the sequel. Even though this title is not as popular as the first, it seems to be written for the series' fans. While I'm lost in the tale, I hear someone dash around across the park. I notice Shane chasing Sachiro, a boy met earlier. The man grabs the boy by the scarf and pushes him to the ground. Shane pulls him up and begins leading him away. I cannot even begin to imagine what sort of crime a child like him has committed. Even though I remember him, I'd sad to stay put. I wonder if he'll be okay. The bizarre arrest is so distracting I don't notice when someone approaches me. The hand comes out of nowhere, casually resting on my shoulder, and I jump at the sensation. What a coincidence bumping into you here, Miss Cutie. Raya, what brings you here? I thought I'd get some fresh air while the weather was nice. You're like you just missed Shane. Is it really a good idea to be outside right now? Sure it is. Although I do not mind his company, I always feel awkward to with him around. I want to leave, but that'd be rude. I suppose Junior's manners have rubbed off on me. And we'll end things off here. It seems like Sachiro just got arrested, so he's probably gonna get murdered by Shane. I don't know if Karado's even involved, but I think Zakun should be fine in this route. I wonder if one of the routes and endings involves all 4 characters. That'd be interesting. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget the like button. Comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, goodbye.